Good evening, everyone. It can be said that in Canada, there's two types of premiers: those who are printers and those who aren't. And lucky for us, we've got the one who is opening the event. And we have a picture, there it is, of an article that we wrote in Canadian Packaging in 2002, back when Doug Ford and Deco Label were expanding their business into the United States. And the article is titled Coming to America. And there we have him draped in the American and Canadian flags, kind of like the way he is today, draped in those flags. You almost wonder if maybe the Americans are slapping us with all those tariffs because Doug Ford went down and stole all their label printing business from them and whatever. Anyway, to discuss that and other current events, please welcome our three-time majority winning and ever popular premier, the Honorable Doug Ford.
Well, first of all, good evening, everyone. And Stephen, thank you. I remember that article, and I'd still drape myself with the Canadian American flag. And I'll tell you the reason why, folks. It's not the American people. We all know Americans. I talk to governors and senators and Congress people every day, Republican and Democrats. Even the Republicans don't agree with what President Trump does. So, we'll get through this. And I always say we're stronger together on the AmCan Fortress. And I just got to thank Thea and Kim and all the sponsors and Stephen again. We've had a long relationship, and thank you for doing what you've been doing for a number of years. And I'm just so pleased to be here. I feel like I'm part of the family. Growing up in the printing industry, I know there's a wide range of different folks in printing industry, no matter if it's flexographic, Revere, sheet fed, and the list keeps going on. Digital now, that's been around for quite some time. And something I love, absolutely love the printing industry. I love going into printing plants. I love the smell of printing plants. And growing up there since I've been running around the printing card printing company or Deco Labels and flexible packaging since I've been about 5 years old. And we took off to Chicago back in 1998, 99, and opened up Chicago Deco Labels there. Then went over to New Jersey in about 2007, expanded there. And what I did after getting elected, I'm very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for getting elected again and bringing the business approach to government. And that's exactly what we're doing at Ontario right now. We're treating it like a business. I always said in 2018 when I walked in to Queens Park, it was like walking into a bankrupt company and just trying to right size it and straighten things out and making sure that we looked at Queens Park like a business. Because when I walked in, the highest taxes, red tape and regulations, highest electricity costs in North America, and we started to make a move. Now you look at where we are in Ontario, even with the struggles that we're seeing. I'll tell you a little background. And first of all, the person that has the toughest job right now in this room, it's not me. It's the person running the teleprompter because I'm all over the place. I'm not just hang in there. I'll be back with you in a minute. And but I like it off the teleprompter. I like speaking off the teleprompter. But you know, you look at what we've done, all of us, and I say what we've done is not our government; it's everyone inclusive in this room. We're the only government, think of this, in the history of Canada has never raised a tax. Never ever raised a tax. We went from revenues of 150 billion up to 230 billion. We've seen over 70 billion dollars of investment come to our province in all different types of sectors, no matter it's the EV sector, life science sector, manufacturing sector that you folks are in, because we've created the environment and the conditions for companies to come here and invest. And it's very, very competitive around North America right now. So we had to make sure that we created the climate for companies to come here and invest. And our number one selling feature is our people. And then we ended up cutting $1.2 billion of red tape and regulations I can tell you, government drives me crazy, and we're fixing government because very simple. And by the way, the worst place you give your money is to the government, municipal, provincial, or federal. And we've cut the burden off the backs of companies by $12 billion each and every single year. And that's compounded year after year. We've saved over 1.8 million hours of people hours within that $1.2 billion. And we're making sure that we're fiscally responsible, prudent fiscal managers, because I always say the foundation of everything in our province, healthcare, education, infrastructure, manufacturing, revolves around one single thing, and that's our economy. Without a strong economy, we don't have any money to put into our healthcare or into any manufacturing infrastructure and so on and so forth. But my Minister of Finance, great guy, best Minister of Finance we've ever seen in this province, just delivered the fall economic statement. And we're going to make sure that we protect our whole theme. I have many jobs. One job that's more important than anything right now is my job to protect each and every one of you, protect your families, protect your communities, and of course, protect your businesses. And the worst thing you could ever do, in government, and I have to pass this message on to every other elected official in the entire country, is you have two philosophies. You either take money out of people's pockets and give it to the government. That's the worst thing you could do, because if you put money into people's pockets, they're going to do things they might otherwise not be able to do. As simple as going out for dinner or buying your kids a new pair of sneakers or pants or doing other stuff. That stimulates the economy. And if you put money back into businesses' pockets, you go out and you invest into your people, into technology, into infrastructure, buying a new piece of printing equipment, and that creates more jobs. It really energizes the economy. So I'm making sure that I pass that message on to every elected official. The easy thing to do is let's raise taxes. And they're very sneaky when they raise taxes. They use every method you could possibly think of to gouge the taxpayer. And we will never, ever, I'm going on record, and I've kept this promise for 7 years, we will never, ever raise taxes, because we saw more revenues come in than ever before in the country. Do you know what the problem is with the government? They have a spending problem, not an income problem. And if you go in there and you start driving efficiencies and focusing on Lean Six Sigma that we adopted in my Chicago facility and then New Jersey and over in Toronto many years ago, we're the only jurisdiction, think of this, in all of North America that focuses on Lean Six Sigma. When I first came in, they didn't even know what lean was. But then we put a notice out to the Ontario Public Service. We found over 2,200 people that focused on lean. But when they became part of the government, they said no one would listen to them. They wouldn't listen to them because they didn't know what lean was. So we have 24, I call it the SWAT team, 24 black belts with lean manufacturing. And we take 2 or 3 that go into every single ministry to drive efficiencies, drive standardization, put on Kaizen events. That's what we're doing. And we're the first in North America to do that. Now, let's talk about what's at hand right now with President Trump. President Trump is trying to attack every single industry there is. And make no mistake about it, that's his goal, to drive every manufacturer down to the U.S. and make sure that he takes every job possible, no matter if it's in the auto sector or manufacturing or life science sector or the tech sector, and the list keeps going on. But folks, we are an economic powerhouse, not just in Canada, but specifically the engine that drives Canada is Ontario. We should never, ever take a backseat to a bully like Donald Trump, because that's what he thinks. He bullies every single person and gets them to roll over. And I can tell you one thing, I will never, ever apologize to Donald Trump for nothing whatsoever. We have to keep up the fight. When he says, I don't need Canada, you're darn right he needs Canada. No matter if he starts at the west coast, of our oil that we ship in 1.2 million barrels a day, or if you look at Saskatchewan with the potash, that we could close down his agricultural sector overnight because he has two choices with potash: get it off the Russians or get it off your closest friends and allies. Same with the uranium. We have the uranium in Saskatchewan. It gets shipped over to Port Hope, and it gets processed there, and then it goes down to the U.S. and they use it for nuclear energy. And you cut him off on that, again, he has only one place to go, and that's Russia. Or our high grade nickel. Our high grade nickel, that they use 60% of their nickel in their military, aerospace, or manufacturing, it comes from Sudbury. And so the list keeps going on and on and on. But folks, every manufacturer, they need something printed, right? Think of that. So if we keep the manufacturing companies coming, they still need printing. And that's our focus. And I always say it's the greatest industry anywhere in the world. When you have an opportunity, each and every one of you go into a multitude of different companies. Think of that. Us being in the label business and flexible packaging, I had the opportunity to go into every sector you could possibly think of. Because in our case, every single product in the world has a label on it, or identification, or a mark, or instructions in the printing industry. And we're going to continue making sure that we create that climate, that we're going to compete against everyone in the world. And the worst thing you could do on businesses, again, is that red tape I was talking about, and as well as these taxes. We're attracting companies from all over the world. Last year alone, we attracted over 409 international companies, investing $40 billion, creating 25,000 jobs. And we have a plan. We have a strong plan to attract more companies. We have offices all over the world. I have my Minister of Economic Development traveling all over the place, my Minister of Energy and Mines, which I'll get into. I know it's not the printing, but I'll get to the mines and the energy that we have. And companies are coming to Ontario because they know it's a pro-business government. They know it's stable. They know it's safe. They come here and invest in Ontario. And every company that comes here, again, uses something printed. No matter what it is, they're using a printed product. Folks, we talk about many things that we have. Our number one skill are our people. We graduate over 70,000 STEM graduates every single year. We'll be up to over 100,000 STEM graduates: science, technology, engineering, and math. That's the way the future is going. AI as well. We have a whole AI strategy that we're moving forward. And you look at data centers, right? You've heard of data centers. They employ about 10 people, but it's the apparatus that comes along with the data centers. And I was reading an article from McKinsey, and they're predicting that they need over $7 trillion is going to be spent on data centers, or data centers, whatever you want to call them. And that's key for our province, our country. So we're an energy powerhouse around the world. I don't know if you've heard about SMRs. They're called small modular reactors. They're about the size of a Walmart. They can power up to 300 to 400,000 homes. And the whole world wants these small modular reactors. And we're leading the world. We're leading the G7 when it comes to nuclear. Not only are we building the small modular reactors here, we're also building large-scale nuclear, because who needs our energy? Not just over in Europe, that my energy minister just came back and made tens of billions of dollars of deals that we can ship our small modular reactors over there, but large-scale nuclear. Every single person, every governor I speak to needs our energy. We power 1.5 million homes and businesses in New York State, in Michigan, in Minnesota. And those are great governors, by the way. And along with Pennsylvania, that governor wants us to run a line underneath Lake Erie to pop up into Erie, because Americans, they don't have enough energy. We do. And we're going to build these new large-scale nuclear facilities that will be able to power 16 million homes. Now, we aren't going to need 16 million homes because I don't think we're going to grow that quickly, even though we're growing faster than Texas and Florida combined. Just think of this. We're growing faster than Texas and Florida combined. You talk to the governors down there and they always say, we're the fastest growing state in the US. We have 1,000 people a day coming to our state. And I always say that's 365,000 for both of you. Last year, we had over 800,000 people show up, and 2 million people since I've been elected have showed up to Ontario. Now, in saying that, what has to keep up? Infrastructure has to keep up, healthcare, education. So I was the first out of the gate a year ago or 2 years ago when we're short 400,000 people. And I said, we need more people, but we need skilled economic development people that are going to come in here and make a difference. So now what I'm saying is we need to slow down. We have to catch up with everything else that we need to attract more people. And that's what we're doing. We're slowing down a little bit, but still, as I speak today, there's still 250,000 jobs available. And they have to be jobs of the future. Our biggest challenge, and I bet in this room, I'm talking our challenge at Deco, and I don't get involved in the business. I sold our 2 U.S. divisions. Full disclosure, I sold out to my brother, so I have no conflict here. But the biggest challenge that I hear from them, I need skilled people that need to, be able to run a press. And I'm sure this room, if you could find qualified people to run your presses, it'd be a lot easier. So we have something called the Skills Development Fund that we've trained over 750,000 people. And I was just speaking to someone over at that table that needs some funding as an industry to train more people in the printing sector. No matter what type of printing it is, we're going to be able to stand up, give you funding for that. And I guess whoever's in charge of that would love to open up a area that maybe one of the big press folks here that sell the presses, no matter if it's Roland or Heidelberg or any of the others on the list, maybe you could sponsor a couple presses, get a facility, and we'll pay for the funding to get people trained. No matter if it's the graphic side or the digital side as well. Put some presses in a building, and we could have the best training center anywhere in the entire world, right here in Ontario. And I'm always encouraging, the people that manufacture, be it the paper or in our family's business, pressure sensitive or flexible packaging or shrink sleeves, come here and open up here. There's incentives that we're offering right now to companies around the world to come here and open up more jobs to make us more, resilient, rather than always relying on our friends in the U.S. And by the way, we need them, but they need us just as much. We're the number one customer. Think of this, the number one customer to 17 states. So we buy more products off 17 states than anywhere else in the world. And number two to 15 other states. Again, we buy more products. And that's just Ontario alone. If we're a standalone country, and I never recommend that, but if we're a standalone country, we'd be the world's third largest trading partner to the US. We buy 400% more cars than anywhere in the entire world off the US. And I guess you heard about the ad that ran. But no matter where I go, so no matter where I go, including my friends in the US, are lighting up my phone, way to go, keep, running those ads. Our intention was to wake up the American people. And I had a friend just called me from Florida yesterday and said, you know something? Thank goodness you ran that ad because it woke everyone up. That's all we were trying to do is get people's attention. And my goodness, we got their attention all right. There was, I don't think an ad is ever in these many views, or they call them impressions, eyeballs on their ears. Over 12.4 billion. Think of that. 12.4 billion around the world, and the whole world was listening to it. And do you know what they're happy about? They're happy about someone has a backbone to stand up to the biggest bully this world has ever seen, and never ever, never give in. And I've said this to the Prime Minister: we have just as much to offer. You got to stand up for the country. And I get it. He's doing a great job. We get along very well because he's a bright business person. And I just said, you got to learn politics. And, I'll help you all the way. But we have to be united. If there's one thing that Donald Trump has done, he's united the country from coast to coast to coast. We're going to keep fighting non-stop until we get a fair trade deal. And like Ronald Reagan said, protectionism does not work. It's never worked. It will never work anywhere in the world. When Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, a mentor of mine, a great man, had many conversations with him, his daughter Caroline is the president of the Treasury and our government. He said after the deal, there was millions and millions of jobs created on both sides of the border. If you start putting up a big wall in between the two greatest friends and allies in the entire world, that's a problem. I always say you can't use the auto sector, for example. You can't unscramble an egg that's been around since 1960, the auto pack. You have to make the omelet larger, have more opportunities, and put money into businesses to make sure that they thrive and they prosper and grow. Because when companies thrive, prosper, and grow, your whole team within that company thrives, prospers, and grows. My friends, I just want to thank you so much for having me. My passion is printing. I love printing. And anytime you want me to come by your facility and take a tour, I'll be there in a second. But we're going to continue running the province like a business and lead the world right across the entire world and driving economic growth, the likes of which this province has never seen before. So again, I want to thank you for having me by. And Stephen, always great to see you, my friend. And we'll get together for a sandwich. And if you ever want to bring a team down to Queen's Park and have break a little bread down there, our doors always open. And if anyone in this room needs help with anything, just call me on my cell phone. I get approximately anyone from 1,000 to 1,200 calls. I'm not exaggerating. My team sees it. I think I'm the only crazy one in the world that gives out his cell number online, but my phone number is online. And if you don't have it, it's 647-612-3673. No one answers my phone except myself. And you have two choices in politics. Either live in the bubble, I call Queen's Park, listen to a bunch of public service, which I love our public service, listen to a bunch of politicians, which outside of our team, I don't like politicians because the majority of them have never met a payroll in their life. They don't know what a P&L statement looks like. They have no sales and marketing background. But what I'm blessed with the greatest team ever assembled in politics, because probably 95% of them have done what I just said, met a payroll, owned a company. And I always believe in surrounding yourself with really bright people. But again, I want to thank you and God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.